Hey, what's up everybody? I am Jason and you're watching my channel, Micro Investor. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about a subject that it feels like it's been a little while since I've talked about it, and that is NIO stock. So currently, NIO is trading at all-time lows. They're trading around $3 a share, but that's not saying too much because the stock has only been out in the stock market since September of 2018. Back then, the IPO was at $6 a share. Now, I'm not somebody who usually buys into a stock on the date of the IPO, but NIO was one of those stocks that I made an exception to. I got into NIO at $6.15 a share, and about 100 shares at that time. But within the next day, NIO stock jumped up about 90%. So I sold the stock for $11.20. I sold 50 shares, and then I held on to that capital for just a little while. So I knew that, the stock was going to be very volatile. I knew that it had so much hype behind it. Not only that, the space that the stock was in is a very volatile space as it is. So, I sold that 50 shares just to protect, my investment at that time. Who's not going to want to, make a little bit of a profit there. And then I held on to that capital for a little while. So I knew the stock was going to go down to about where I bought it at. So I set a limit buy at that time, and I got back into the stock at $6.20 on October 2nd. So I picked up 100 shares on that limit buy, and so I was at 150 shares at that time in October, and I just continued buying a few shares here and there a couple times a week. Pretty much anything that was under, $8. I try to keep it around $7. So that's where I was kind of like averaging in like $7.50 a share. And I just kept doing that until I had 333 shares at the beginning of March. And that's when 60 Minutes ran a report on, Chinese electric vehicles. And their main focus of their report was NIO. And that sent NIO stock up quite a bit. So since there was so much hype behind that 60 Minutes report, I sold out of NIO. I sold everything that I had on March 4th for $10.13. I knew that the stock was going to go down real quick from there because, it was all up by hype, and that was a great opportunity for me to make another return and to start this process all over again. So I'm not one that wants to catch a falling knife, so I haven't really put a whole lot into NIO as it's been dropping down. But, I've been picking up, more shares here and there, and definitely at this price now, with it being around $3 a share, that is a much more attractive price with the value of the company, with looking at their sales. That makes me more interested to say, hey, maybe I should be putting a little bit more money in and pick up more shares for this price, for the opportunity that this stock is going to go back up a bit. Now, I'm definitely not trying to tell anybody to invest into NIO. I'm just sharing my strategies here because as a lot of people are saying, they're losing money in NIO. I've never lost money in NIO. I've only ever gained. And that's just because I stuck with the strategy of buying low and selling it, getting out at the right time every time. And that's where my play is right now. It's the same thing with it being at $3 a share. At the moment, it's like all it has to do for me is go back to the price of the IPO, and I've doubled my money that I put into it. So for reasons why NIO stock is down so much is very similar to what happened with Tesla. So for the 2018 year, for the fourth quarter, NIO really ramped up production, right? So they produced a lot of vehicles, a lot of the pre-orders, which really got their sales numbers up. So it looked great from the third quarter to the fourth quarter. It was just amazing. So when it came time for the sales numbers for quarter one of 2019, well, they didn't do well. They didn't have all those sales because they finished so much of their of the production at the previous quarter to get everything up for the end of the year, that they really started the new year out pretty poorly. And so that's what happened. That's like one of the big things that happened, was that they did too much too fast, and they made everything look good. And that really doesn't look attractive in the market when you know, your sales numbers are down such a large percent than they were from the previous quarter. So to get to why I would be still very bullish on NIO is that Tesla is going to be opening up their new Shanghai factory. And with competition, with NIO having, you know, much more competition, there's already so much competition in China, but with them having even more competition, and especially competition by Tesla, I think that that would actually really help benefit NIO in a way, because in some ways, you know, in a lot of ways actually, competition is actually a good thing. It gives people more variety. Now with NIO not really having very many cars, you know, out there in China, what that possibly could create is a much more bigger demand for NIO with Tesla being out there, because, you know, there's already BYD that has such a big market share of electric vehicles out there, that this could actually be a very good thing, that it just brings more variety for everybody to choose from. So with that, I'll leave the video right there. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you for watching.